I am continuing in my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am continuing reading in a chronological order, according to event, not according to publication or volume, so I'm skipping around a bit as I move along. We are continuing in the Doctrine and Covenants. This is late 1832, moving into 1833. Cholera epidemic is sweeping the nation. Threat of civil war is looming. We've read an explanation of the wheat and parable of the wheat and tares, as well as a prophecy of the wars that are to be poured out upon all nations very shortly. In our last reading, we began section 88. We read the first 50 verses, in which not only do we get a full description of what the light of Christ is, but we also are getting a more detailed description of what resurrection is and how resurrection works and how we are resurrected into what glory we are resurrected into. All of this is in section 88, and this is given as a comfort to the saints in the face of all these trials that are coming and the persecutions that are about to begin. All of this stuff, this is, as Joseph Smith said, a olive leaf plucked from the branch of paradise. So now we pick it up, section 88, starting in verse 51. Behold, I will liken these kingdoms unto a man having a field, and he sent forth his servants into the field to dig in the field. And he said unto the first, Go ye, and labor in the field, and in the first hour I will come unto you, and ye shall behold the joy of my countenance. And he said unto the second, Go ye also into the field, and in the second hour I will visit you with the joy of my countenance. And also unto the third, saying, I will visit you, and unto the fourth, and so on unto the 12th. And the Lord of the field went unto the first in the first hour, and tarried with him all that hour. And he was made glad with the light of the countenance of his Lord. And then he withdrew from the first, that he might visit the second also, and the third, and the fourth, and so on unto the 12th. And thus they all received the light of the countenance of their Lord, every man in his hour, and in his time, and in his season, beginning at the first, and so on unto the last, and from the last unto the first, and from the first unto the last, every man in his own order, until his hour was finished, even according as his Lord had commanded him, that his Lord might be glorified in him, and he in his Lord, that they might be glorified. Therefore unto this parable I will liken all these kingdoms, and the inhabitants thereof, every kingdom in its hour, and in its time, and in its season, even according to the decree which God hath made. Let us pause a moment. This is a new parable. Christ has referenced parables from the scriptures before, from the Bible. He's re-quoted a number of them, but this is a brand new parable for the modern day. And what Christ is revealing here is that in the eternities, we are not constantly in the presence of God. We are not just sitting before his throne, praising him nonstop. We are in our own sphere. We are doing what we need to. We are doing our work. But God comes and visits us in our time, in our season, and he makes his rounds, and he keeps going, so that at times we are directly in his presence. We are always in the celestial glory, but at times we are actually in his presence. Like, he comes to our house and visits us. So, my parents take turns going to visit all their kids. It's the same thing in the eternities with God visiting us. We will live on this earth. This earth will be perfected and glorified. This earth will be resurrected into a celestial glory, and it will be our home. But God doesn't live on, Christ will make his home on this earth, because this is the home, this is the earth he lived his immortal life on. But he will travel to all the other worlds that God has created, all the worlds that are celestialized. He will travel and visit them in their turn. Let us continue, verse 62. And again, verily I say unto you, my friends, I leave these sayings with you to ponder in your hearts, with this commandment which I give unto you, that ye shall call upon me while I am near. Draw near unto me, and I will draw near unto you. Seek me diligently, and ye shall find me. Ask, and ye shall receive. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. Whatsoever ye ask the Father in my name, it shall be given unto you, that is expedient for you. And if ye ask anything that is not expedient for you, it shall turn unto your condemnation. Behold, that which you hear is as the voice of one crying in the wilderness, because you cannot see him, My voice, because my voice is spirit, my spirit is truth. Truth abideth, and hath no end. And if it be in you, it shall abound. And if your eye be single to my glory, your whole body shall be filled with light, and there shall be no darkness in you. And that body which is filled with light comprehendeth all things. Therefore sanctify yourselves, that your minds become single to God. And the days will come that you shall see him, for he will unveil his face unto you, and it shall be in his own time, and in his own way, and according to his own will. Remember the great and last promise which I have made unto you. Cast away your idle thoughts, and your excess of laughter far from you. Tarry ye in this place, and call a solemn assembly, even of those who are the first laborers of this last kingdom. And let those whom they have warned in their traveling call on the Lord, and ponder the warning in their hearts which they have received for a little season. Behold, and lo, I will take care of your flocks, and will raise up elders and send unto them. Behold, I will hasten my work in its time. And I give unto you, who are the first laborers in this last kingdom, a commandment that you assemble yourselves together, and organize yourselves, and prepare yourselves, and sanctify yourselves. Yea, purify your hearts, and cleanse your hands and your feet before me, that I may make you clean, that I may testify unto your Father and your God and my God, that you are clean from the blood of this wicked generation, that I may fulfill this promise, this great and last promise which I have made unto you, when I will. Also I give unto you a commandment, that ye shall continue in prayer and fasting from this time forth. And I give unto you a commandment, that you shall teach one another the doctrine of the kingdom. Teach ye diligently, and my grace shall attend you, that you may be instructed more perfectly in theory, in principle, in doctrine, in the law of the gospel, in all things that pertain unto the kingdom of God, that are expedient for you to understand. Of things both in heaven and in the earth and under the earth, things which have been, things which are, things which must shortly come to pass, things which are at home, things which are abroad, the wars and the perplexities of the nations, and the judgments which are on the land, and a knowledge also of countries and of kingdoms, that ye may be prepared in all things when I shall send you again to magnify the calling whereunto I have called you, and the mission with which I have commissioned you. This is an interesting portion here. The elders are being called to assemble. I think here, verse 72, where it says, Behold, and lo, I will take care of your flocks. This is talking about the congregations of the church that are being converted. When missionaries go out and they baptize, they convert. They baptize and they organize branches or wards of the church where they pass through. And God is saying here, look, you guys need to come back, assemble yourselves. These are the leaders. These are the elders of the church. Bring them back so that we can hold a solemn assembly, that we can have this final commission made. And you can be more perfectly instructed in what the message you're going to continue to spread are. And then what it says there, verse 72, is don't worry about those who have heeded the warning, who have listened to your message and have been baptized. I will take care of your flocks. He calls them your flocks, as they are, through your labors, they have been brought to a knowledge of the truth. I will take care of them. I will raise up elders to them in their own congregations. Right now, I need the first laborer. He says the first laborers. These are those who were elders of the church in the first year of its existence. Most of them, or a good number of them, had been converted and were faithful even before the church had been organized. These are the first laborers, the ones who were first organized to go out and preach. Other elders will be raised up to take care of those congregations that have been formed by their labors. But these first elders are being called back to another solemn assembly so that they can be more perfectly instructed. And we are told here that he's going to tell them what's coming. You're going to know things in heaven, in earth, under the earth, things that have been, things that are, things that will be. And I think the rest of this section deals largely with what will happen immediately before and during the second coming. This is where we get the most direct, most complete description of the second coming. Honestly, section 88 is a section that you could spend hours on. There's so much here. But my main purpose in this series is to read the scriptures, not to do detailed, in-depth analysis. I do make my comments, but I try to keep them brief. So we will now continue verse 81. Behold, I sent you out to testify and warn the people, and it becometh every man who hath been warned to warn his neighbor. Therefore they are left without excuse, and their sins are upon their own heads. He that seeketh me early shall find me, and shall not be forsaken. Therefore tarry me, and labor diligently, that you may be perfected in your ministry, to go forth among the Gentiles for the last time, as many as the mouth of the Lord shall name, to bind up the law, and seal up the testimony, and to prepare the saints for the hour of judgment which is to come, that their souls may escape the wrath of God, the desolation of abomination which awaits the wicked, both in this world and in the world to come. Verily I say unto you, let those who are not of the first elders continue in the vineyard until the mouth of the Lord shall call them, for their time is not yet come. Their garments are not clean from the blood of this generation. Abide ye in the liberty wherewith ye are made free. Entangle not yourselves in sin, but let your hands be clean until the Lord comes. For not many days hence, and the earth shall tremble and reel to and fro as a drunken man, and the sun shall hide his face, and shall refuse to give light. And the moon shall be bathed in blood, and the stars shall become exceedingly angry, and shall cast themselves down as a fig that falleth from off a fig tree. And after your testimony cometh wrath and indignation upon the people. For after your testimony cometh the testimony of earthquakes, that shall cause groanings in the midst of her, and men shall fall upon the ground, and shall not be able to stand. And also cometh the testimony of the voice of thunderings, and the voice of lightnings, and the voice of tempests, and the voice of waves of the sea, heaving themselves beyond their bounds. And all things shall be in commotion, and surely men's hearts shall fail them, for fear shall come upon all people. And angels shall fly through the midst of heaven, crying with a loud voice, sounding the trump of God, saying, prepare ye, O inhabitants of the earth, for the judgment of our God is come. Behold, and lo, the bridegroom cometh. Go ye out to meet him. I'm actually going to end it there. I know I did say I'd be reading through verse 94, but I'm going to end it in 92. I think that's a better transition spot moving into the next reading. These first elders are being called back, saying, look, you've done what you need to. Your garments are clean from this generation. Other elders, they need to still go out there and raise the warning voice, because their garments are not yet clean, because they have not done their due diligence. We then move in to the signs of the last days. After the testimony of the saints, after the testimony of the elders, then come the earthquakes, the tempests, the floods, waves of the sea, heaving themselves beyond their bounds, tidal waves, in other words, tsunamis. All these things have been happening with more regular and happening more frequently and with greater intensity. Now today a lot of people blame this on climate change, but that is to deny the power of God. God is in control. And as these things get worse and worse, this is God's judgment on men. And I'm leaving it here because we read of the event of the second coming next, and that begins in verse 93, or approximately. Right now we are in the time period of all these testimonies of nature and the angels. I'm going to leave it here. I don't want to get too much. This video is already getting long, so I will see you in our next reading, where we will finish out section 88.